the Negro marts were so advanced in how they had the yards, and you can go in there and they had the Negro brokers and this and that, and it was really like an institution and like a whole process. Cause I just thought it was, oh, okay, we have an auctioning block and people, like it's just one, but they really had like stores and brokers and yards. I didn't know it was that advanced. So I think that's one of the things that stuck with me the most, and that I guess caught my eye, and I'm interested in learning more about.
To add on, I was when we were talking about like the yards, I was just like how prevalent those terms are today, like yard sales. Like we may not realize it, but that's literally talking about that started from selling Negroes in your yard, and now we just use it on an everyday basis. So it just shows how things get lost in translation over time.
Adding on to now, like making those connections, like how trafficking today, it's like slavery, it's modern slavery. Like, while we were walking, we were talking about that. And when we were talking about how they would sell the Negroes in the back, we were talking about how it's like modern day trafficking and stuff, and how that's all connected, and how it's weird, how it's all coming together.
Speaking of walking, this is a different experience for me because I know in Atlanta I couldn't walk anywhere. So just speaking like a general incident, having to like walk to places and see the history like as you're walking, I feel like that was really cool because usually you would be in a car like going stop by stop, actually walking in the history. I feel like that was a unique experience that I enjoyed.
To add on to Justin, I would say that when you're walking, when you're walking around Savannah, you see that basically everything around you has something behind it, and there's a story behind it, and it's not just you stepping on grass. That grass could actually mean something. There could be something underneath that. So when I think of it, I'm trying to take into consideration that everything around me has some type of story, and I can't just walk past. I actually have to think deeply about it. And so even coming with the trees, like the different trees have things behind them. So I like how in Savannah everything has a story.
Yeah, and you got it.
So adding on to like those stories, I realized that I had history sitting like right under my nose when I was in Louisiana, because those churches that I went to were actually built and constructed just like the church that we visited. And I realized that meant that church was built way back then, and the color red was very significant in my church. The Bibles are red, and we had like the same carpet layout, and I felt like, I was like, wow, this looks like my church back home. It's sort of weird. I told Khadijah that, I believe, and it was just crazy. And I was like, I'm just sitting there under history.
Yeah, to that point with like the color red, like some people will think about it and be like, oh, that's just a cute little red door, but there's meaning behind that stuff. And simply just like the shades of the color blue, like the connections between stuff here and in stuff Africa that people really don't think about or know anything about. It was interesting learning about that, because I didn't think anything of like, oh, that's just a cute baby blue on the wall, but like people take that really seriously, and that's like a religious thing. So
Now, speaking of connections, we were talking about food and how certain things, like, we might not even think it's African cuisine, but it's actual cuisine that's taken from our ancestors. I'm Filipino, and so a lot of the stuff that is considered African cuisine, I never actually eaten like on a regular basis. And when Mr. Jamal, or Brother Jamal, was saying that some of the foods that were taken from Africa were also taken from the Spanish in the Philippines, it really brought everything full circle.
Kind of add on to Mayumi, a lot of that like goes the same with like language and words. Like a lot of the words that we use, even if it's not like the entire word, the root word comes from like either like Africa or like other places that we didn't even think about.
I would say to add on, it's like what you don't know, you don't know. It's like it's up to you if you think it's important enough to learn it, like the door and the language and the clue. Like if you don't know it, you're most likely not gonna learn it if you don't take the time to find the story behind it, find the people who actually care about teaching it to certain kids, because we are the future, and it's very important that we know what is going on around the world and what happened previously before us.
Speaking of that, and kind of like going deeper into the color, I thought it was kind of interesting because before, like he said, Brother Jamal said that the blue was used to like protect us so that it would be kind of a repellent. And I thought it was really interesting because when I was little, and I would wake up and I thought, I couldn't move. I just thought like, oh, it's sleep paralysis. I'll be okay in a minute. But then when he went like deeper into it, he was saying like that's your spirit leaving your body, and you know that's the hag riding you or whatever you call it. And then the blue is kind of protecting. It's really interesting because I never even thought about it like that. And then we went deeper into it, and it really makes sense to me.
For me, I think I like learning about how intelligent our ancestors were. Like when they started to carve like Arabic in some like the benches to kind of leave their story, and they thought about future generations and how we would take that into account. And like even though maybe we can't read Arabic, it just kind of shows how they wanted to pass down their story.
To add on, I like how it wasn't a separation thing as it might be now. It was more of I'll trade some of my knowledge for some of your knowledge, and that's how I feel like that's kind of how they operated back then to now, where it's like really separated. It's like I'm gonna stick with my group of people, you stick with yours. So that's one thing that stood out to me.
Adding on to Madison, I thought it was really cool, like just seeing how smart our ancestors were, because I'm very interested in medicine, and so back like talking about the weeping willow trees and the moss and stuff. I thought that was really
To go back to it, for my old point, it's like a lot of buildings are being remodeled and a lot of stuff is being rebuilt. So if it's there and you think, oh, this is just a cute little pet store, no, something actually happened there. It's a very important story, and it just matters that we try to learn what happened before instead of just thinking, oh, that was just built there, or it doesn't matter what was there previously.
So at this point, Brother Jamal is probably going to make his way for the rest of his evening because he has definitely given us way more time than I thought we had with him. Any words of appreciation?
Thank you, Brother Jamal. You really brought everything into perspective and showed the city of Savannah in variations.
Give it to the Most High. We appreciate y'all. You all the ones. Just to share this with y'all, we didn't make it down on River Street, but something I share, folks, that oftentimes we think about the Middle Passage. We think about the Middle Passage. We think about the people who died in the Middle Passage. And I tell folks, that is nothing compared to what happened on the land. More people died on the land than on the water. And again, we pay homage to those, our ancestors, those great people who did not survive the Middle Passage. And I use this example at times. I tell people, I say, imagine if they go inside a village, they take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 family members. They take them out, 10 of them. But then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 die to even make it to the coast, to the factories that will now harbor them before they bring them to the Americas. And then 1 or 2 will die in the Middle Passage. And I tell folks this, that if you see a person of African descent in the Americas, that means at least one of their ancestors survived. Only the best of the best survived, and too few black folks in the Americas from Canada to Argentina realize that they're descendants of the best of the best. I say, when you understand it, you carry yourself differently, treat each other differently, expect more from yourself and from your brothers and sisters. And you all are descendants of the best of the best. And that means that you all got an obligation, that you're not here by accident. And I tell people, no child is an accident. Each one of us, when we are here, we have been ordained to be here. And you have divine purposes in your life. Not one purpose, but several purposes in your lives. And that's why you're here right now, to bring about the change. It's going to be on you all to bring about the change. And that's why I know that the best of the best is with me right now, because I'm surrounded by the best of the best. And what are you? And who are you?
Best of the best.
Y'all don't even believe that. Y'all ain't say it like that. Who are you and what are you?
The best of the best.
All right. From where? Where you from?
Jordan.
All right. That one time I represent. So again, you all would take it even higher than what I ever gone. You would take it to another level.